It's time for the BAQA. Hey, the BAQA, what you say? The BAQA, no mandate. The BAQA, just Tiffany. The BAQA. Hey, Mandy's not here, as you can see. I'm in the stew by my lonesome, but I got y'all. We're going to take some questions, and I've got some answers. But as I always say, I'm not your mama. No, I'm not your cousin. Well, your financial internet cousin. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not your attorney. I'm not your doctor, child. I'm not even your engineer. But what I am is a smart Black girl who can answer some questions that you take with the smallest, tiniest grain of salt, aka sue somebody else. You know, take what I say with a grain of salt, ask the people that you pay, like what you should do. But let's get started, BAQA. And if you ever want to ask a question, best thing to do is go head on over to Brown Ambition Podcast on Instagram, send us a question there, and or go head on in to brownambitionpodcast.com and click contact us. Yeah. All right, let's get started. Let me see. Quick question from Patrice. Well, I think I'm going to do 3 today. Patrice asked a question. She says, hello, Tiffany. I love the podcast and hear you mention financial advisors a few times. Do you have any suggestions on how to find one? I do, or anyone that you could recommend. I'm a single mom and want to meet some goals to prepare for her going to college. First of all, yes, single mama. Okay. Now here's what you're going to do, Patrice. So I wrote this book called Get Good with Money. I'm not going to sell you that book, right? But what you are going to do is get something for free. You're going to go to getgoodwithmoney.com. I'm literally going there now to make sure it's all good. And you're going to click at the top. It says GGWM for Get Good with Money Book Club Kit. You finna click on the kit, sis, right? Then you're going to download the kit. And when you do, it's going to open up one. It'll send you I guess a PDF or a link, but you'll be able to open it up right away. And what's so great about the kit is if you scroll down, if you scroll down to chapter 10 on the kit, pick your money team, there's going to be these resources, right? Like there's going to be these resources that you can use to find who you need. Like if I click, let me see. No, where is it? Oh, meanwhile, girl, I'm on the wrong thing. I was like, where is this? I'm looking at the book club kit. I mean, that's great. You could definitely go get your book club kit on too. But I want you to not get the book club kit. I want you to go there and get the toolkit. Because I was like, this doesn't look like what I said is what you should have. You're going to get the toolkit because that's really important. And I still want you to scroll down to chapter 10 because in the toolkit, you will find, as soon as you put in your name and your email, it opens up right away to the website. And if you go scroll, the reason why I want you to go here is because it's more than just here's a list of financial advisors. There are a bunch of things. So there is this template that I created called My So-Called Financial Life, which is literally a template where it's like it is a sheet that you can fill out with all of your financial information. So when you interview financial planners, ideally certified financial planners, that don't forget what to share with them. Like I like to actually share my so-called financial life template with them. Like, here's everything you need to know about my finances. Let's talk. Right? So that's one that's there. This is under chapter 10 on the toolkit at getgoodwithmoney.com. Also there, you're also going to find some sites that I recommend, like the NAPFA, Fee Only Network, XY Planning. That's all going to be there. If you're looking even to find an accountant, there's going to be information there. And so there's just so many resources there that are going to help you. So I would go to getgoodwithmoney.com, click on the toolkit, scroll to chapter 10. Don't just get where you can find a financial planner. I also want you to get what questions you should ask them and here's this template that you can fill out with your finances so they know like whether or not you might be a fit for them. So I hope that's helpful. Let's see. Next on the docket, we have a question that we get a lot. I'm going to give you a name. Let's call you Shanice. Shanice asks, hey, Tiffany and Mandra, love you. Question, I never know whether or not to pay down debt or save, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, she didn't say the chicken or the egg. I added that part. So when you are paying down, when you have some extra money left over, if you're fortunate, there is that question: do I prioritize paying down debt? Do I prioritize savings? And the answer is, it depends. What did I say your name was? Fake name, Shanice? It depends, Shanice. Because if you have debt that is expensive, which most debt is, meaning over double digits, like some people have debt, it's 15%, 20%, double digit debt, I want you to over-index and pay more toward paying down debt. Because right now, let me see what banks are giving as far as interest rate. We're about to look it up. So we're about to see like what banks are doing as far as interest rates. Let's say, like, I'm trying to think like what are high yield savings accounts giving right now? High yield savings accounts. Okay. Right now, the highest I'm seeing is about 4.5%. Okay? Well, actually, that's old. So that's weird. Why is it not showing? Anyway, but right now, about 4.5%, right? So if your debt is costing you 10%, and high yield, meaning like the highest you're getting right out here in these streets, is 4.5%, 10% is bring you down, 4% is halfway bring you back up. So do you see why it's important to pay off the thing that's actually costing you the most amount of money? Because you cannot save what the debt is costing you. So what I would say is, I want you to focus on getting rid of expensive debt. Now, I don't want you to not save. So let's just say I had $100. I might say to myself, I'm going to put $25 into savings, because savings is like a seatbelt. You're going to have to lean into that safety of it all. That's just how it goes. So you should have something going towards savings. And then maybe I put $75 toward paying down that debt, because the debt is costing me way too much money. But let's just say I had like some student loan debt and the interest rate was like 3% or something like that. Then I would over-index on the savings, because the savings is making me more than the student loan is costing me. So I would say maybe like 75 into savings, 25 to pay, the student loan debt off. I hope that makes sense, that like, if you're paying off debt versus savings, look to see, are you going to make more in savings, or are you going to spend more in debt, and prioritize which one the interest rate is higher. You should still try your best to do both, but prioritize the one with the interest rate that's higher, because that's where you're going to see the biggest return, or at least the biggest cut down. I think it was, who's that richest man in the world? Well, he's not the richest, Warren Buffett. He said the best raise you can give yourself is to get rid of high interest rate debt. Because that interest rate, that 15%, that 20% is costing you, sis. So if you can get rid of that debt, you are going to be able to have more money a month. That's like an internal raise. So before we answer another question or two, we don't see, we're going to throw the break, pay some bills, and we're going to be back and black and brown ambition. See you in a minute. We're back in black. Can I just get into the fact that, like, because I mean, if you don't big yourself up, who's going to big yourself up? Your girl skin has been glowing. And when I tell you, I don't have, like, I have, what do I have on? I have like this thing from Bobbi Brown called a balm. Girl, I'm the worst. But anyway, so it gives you a little bit of a glow, but I don't have foundation on. Look at my skin. You know what I've been doing instead? I have been taking, so I asked my doctor if it was okay to take. They said yes. I have been taking collagen. And it's like one of the best ways to get collagen, which I don't do this because I don't eat meat, is bone broth. You boil bones and like, cause there's like collagen in the bones, and collagen is what helps your skin rejuvenate. Collagen is like helps with joints and stuff like that. And so I've been seeing the girls talk about collagen, but I said, before I put them things in my body, child, let me ask my doctor. And they were like, that's fine, that you can take collagen, and that's great. So, I ordered this like collagen, called like Spoiled Child. I'm sure you saw all the, this is not, sponsored. I ordered this collagen, called Spoiled Child, and I was like, okay, the taste is not bad. I take like 2 tablespoons every morning. It's a little sweet. So I'm sure the sugar is like, if you diabetic, you might want to say, but anyway, so, the girly seed that, it's about 2 months before you really see like a difference. So I was like, okay. So I'm on the end of my second bottle, which actually, let me make myself a note because your girl needs to order another bottle. So the girlie said, after 2 months, let me say, I'm just literally making myself no order collagen. Collagen. And so the other day, like I was getting like my makeup retouched. I was like speaking at someplace big time. The other day, I was like, like getting my makeup done, like to speak on the stage. And the lady was like, you have such great skin. I mean, people tell me I have decent skin all the time. But I was like, yeah. But then I really looked, because when I came back from Egypt, like last month, like Egypt burnt your sister to a crisp. Okay, I wore sunscreen. Even though I'm chocolate, I wore sunscreen because chocolate do melt. But it's just like my skin was so dry after, and it just was not looking its best. And I was breaking out like crazy. And I don't break out. I was getting cystic acne like I was in high school again. But I started taking this collagen, and I had bought all the stuff that I was going to use to kind of rejuvenate my skin. And I just got lazy. I bought $100 worth of stuff, and I just never got to it. So I'm using my normal skincare routine that I've been using for the last 3 years, which is because my skin gets really dry. Burt's Bees, I use an oil cleanser. Then I use like this serum from this Black-owned brand that I love called Butter Bar. They have this melanin serum that I've always been using for the last 2 years, and they have an under eye roller thing that I've always been using. And then because I can get like little eczema patches, I use this eczema lotion, but I use it on my face too. But the same, like I didn't do anything different. But when I say my skin, it is the most supple. I ain't never seen my skin like this. And I was like, literally, I was putting lotion on my skin yesterday, and I was like, why does my skin feel so soft? Like soft, like a baby's booty. I know I'm going off on a tangent because I'm like, whatever, girl. Mandy in here, I could do what I want. So anyway, and I was like, I'm not doing anything different. I have not used any of those products that I bought to like rejuvenate my skin post-Egypt because I've just been lazy about it. I'm using the same routine as I always do. And and I realized the only thing new is this daggone collagen. And I'm not here to say you need to use collagen, but I'm just saying, you're good, sis. I mean, my skin is giving 25, but my knees is giving 43. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I would just love to know, has anybody tried collagen? My sister said she was going to try it, so we finna see. But I don't know. I don't know if that's why my skin looks like this. All I'm saying is I'm not using anything new on my face. The only thing different is I'm taking collagen. So, like, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not saying that's what you need to do. But like I said, I spoke to my doctor, the one who I pay. So that's what you ought to do. And just ask about, like, I don't know. Because I just, I want to be youthful. Because my mom don't have no wrinkles. And I said, child, dry skin leads to wrinkles. We don't want that. So my 43-year-old skin is holding it tight. Okay. Anyway, shout out to collagen. Anyway, let's see. Question from Shirlene. Shirlene says, hi, ladies. I have a dilemma, and I hope you can help with it. I have a personal loan of $15,500 and with a whopping 15.24% interest rate. She said, I know you don't have to tell me. Sad face. I get it. That's a lot. Running the numbers, I don't have the capacity to pay more than the minimum payment, which is $380 a month on the loan, and I am a new single mom working part-time. However, I do put aside $400 a month into my son's savings account, and that currently has a balance of $15,000, earning approximately 4%. Ooh, we just answered a question like this. I have recently decided that I want to put at least $10,000 of the savings into an investment bond for my son and continue to fund it each month as I have been doing. But part of me thinks I should take $15,000 to pay the loan, then rebuild my son's savings by paying $800 a month into it. What say you? I hate the idea of taking my child's money, but I also hate the debt that won't move. For context, I have $2,000 in emergency funds and hope to buy a home in the next year or two. Thanks so much. Shirlene. I beg you, please don't something take my man. That's Dolly Parton. And then it was like remade by Miley Cyrus. Okay, Shirlene. This is hard, right? Because you're like, I want to set aside money for the baby, which congratulations, mama. I love that. But you have this debt, which you're absolutely right. If you pay the minimum on this $15,000 debt, you will be paying that debt. It's go get if I had the time, I would like plug into a calculator. You're going to be paying that debt for a long time, and you'll likely pay like double what you actually owe. That 15 is going to cost you like 30. You know, that's the problem with like when you pay the minimum on debt. It's that like so much of that money goes to fees, which is really disheartening, you know? So I can understand. You didn't say how old your son was, but you said, I'm a new single mom. So I don't know if you're newly single or newly a mom, but the thing is, if mama ain't good, nobody good. And so I know you're like, oh, I hate taking away from my son, but you know what's really taking away from your son? This $15,000 money you owe at 15%. If it was me, I honestly, especially if my son was a baby, like it'd be one thing if you said my son graduates high school next year, then I might be like, you need that money for college right away. But if your son is really young, you know, if he was super young, you know, like I said, if you're a new mom, you know, your son is like 2, 3, I would take that full amount and pay off that debt and say, we're not going back into debt no more. Now, you didn't tell me your other debt. Do you have other credit card debt and things like that? I don't know that here because then I might reconsider. But I'm just going to pretend like this is the only debt that you owe, besides like maybe your car note or something like that. But this is the most expensive debt, and you don't have any credit card debt. I'm just going to pretend. I probably would put all, if not most, to pay off this debt, because at that 15%, it's going to take you a long time to pay that off. And if your son is only earning 4%, and let's just say you put his money into a bond, right? Or you put it into investment, you put it into the market. The market is still on average going to yield about 10% a year. So 10% is still less than the 15 that, 15 and a quarter that the debt is costing you. Does that make sense? So even if you were to get a great return in the market at 10%, it's still not going to beat what the debt is costing you. So I probably would, all things considered, use to pay down that debt and stay out of debt, as much as possible. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to make it a habit of like saving and then taking. So then what I would do moving forward is I would be putting my son's money into a vehicle that I cannot easily touch, to your point, like setting it, putting it up, investing it. So it's not easily accessible to you. That's probably what I would do. I would be like, I'm not saying this is what you should do. If I would do, I'd probably bite the bullet, pay off this debt, commit to not getting back into debt like that. Or if I do, borrow money or whatever, navigating for the best interest possible so it's not costing me so much. And then any new money that I'm going to be doubling down with my child, I'm going to put it into an account that I don't have as much free access to, because we don't want to make it a habit into taking from your son's account. And also too, instead of doubling up to rebuild my son's savings into $800 a month, I will put $400 to my son and $400 into my emergency fund, because your emergency fund is not enough. You want ideally to have 3 months worth of expenses in your emergency fund. Because here's the reason why. If something happens, what would you and your son do? I would make that my priority, is to bulk up that emergency fund. So again, I would probably pay off all, if not most, of that $15,000 because it's too expensive. I would continue to fund my son's account with the $400, and I put the other $400 into my emergency fund, if not even more into the emergency fund, like $200 to my son for, $600 to the emergency fund, only because if emergency hits, who gonna look after you and the baby? That money. And so that's more important right now. And then, try your best to keep out of debt and continue to look for ways to earn additional income. I hope that's helpful, Shirlene. Yeah, sometimes we have to make those choices that are not the funnest or the cutest, but they're the choices that we have to make. I have certainly been in that place, so certainly no shame. You do the best you can with what you have until you can do better, then you do better. So I hope that was helpful, BA fam. If you have questions that you want answered about business, about career, about money, about entrepreneurship, you just want to share or whatever, you can hit us up. We are the BA Podcast on Twitter, Brown Ambition Podcast on Instagram, brownambitionpodcast.com. You can click contact us and ask questions there. There's a contact me button there. Until next week, hopefully by next week, we all are the auntie of a brand new BA baby. We already have Rio. That's Mandy's son, Rio. We already have Rio. So we're about to have a new BA baby. So we gonna be on baby watch to see when that baby's coming, because Mandy's literally due like today, any day now. So you'll be stuck with me, but that's okay. We're gonna have some guests in the stew. I just was here by myself today because Mandy had to do some baby things last minute. All right, y'all. See you next week. Bye.
Hey, BA fam, we could not do this show without your support or the support of our team behind the scenes. The Brown Ambition podcast is produced by Imani Crosby, and Dennis Stemplinsky is our in-house tech guru. I am your co-host, Mandy Woodruff-Santos, and we will see y'all next week, BA fam.
Dissecting politics with exclusive interviews, commentary, and humor. Useful Idiots with Katie Halper and Aaron Mate.
I really don't like sharks, and I think we live in a very sharkagandistic world. Quote, one thing to keep in mind is sharks are not out there trying to eat surfers and swimmers. They'd much rather eat fish, but in many cases, they mistake us for their actual prey. When they do bite, they usually move on. That's supposed to make us feel better?
Useful Idiots, wherever you listen.